All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So last time we did a Jubilee middle ground video, it was male feminists versus male anti-feminists. But now they done did a video with feminists versus anti-feminists, and these are all women panel. So we're about to get into this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe while we watching. Now let's roll it.
Earlier, it was mentioned by somebody on the anti-trans side about trans women coming in and taking over sports and things like that, which is just not true.
That is true.
It's not.
It is. I can show you a number of cases.
Show you
there might be people that also haven't.
No, I can show you a number.
Trans women retain 30% of their biological advantage.
That is not
if
true.
they went through male puberty. Yes, it is.
That is.
Yes, it is.
That is not.
Let's not argue it. That's not even the prompts. We're not going to argue about that.
Because you're wrong.
If you are a trans woman and you walk out in the world and you are seen as a man, you do not belong in women's spaces. I don't care what anybody says. I think that's ridiculous, and I think even trans women that have gender dysphoria that go through transition will agree with me.
This makes me so incredibly uncomfortable that we're even having this conversation.
You could go back over there if you really wanted to.
Ooh. If we took all of that off the table, right? If we're not talking about who can play sports with whom, can people exist as who they are?
Absolutely.
It sounded like you were saying if a trans woman doesn't look like what you perceive as looking like a woman, they shouldn't be in feminist spaces.
I didn't say that. I said they shouldn't be in female spaces.
Okay.
Not feminist spaces.
Okay.
I think women...
I disagree with that, but
that's fine. It makes sense to biologically classify people. It also makes sense to socially classify people. Let's say my friend Blair White was sitting right here. That's my buddy. I love her. She's sitting right here. Do I think she lives her life as a man? No. Like we were talking about men making decisions for women as far as abortions are concerned. That's something she'll never experience.
There are women who biologically cannot produce. There are females, people assigned female at birth, who biologically cannot produce. Are you saying that those female women should not be able to have say in those laws
That's
either?
not what I'm saying at all. I guess my main issue with trans women being seen as women and not being seen as trans women is they're changing the definition of women and expecting everybody to go along with that. And that affects me, yes they are, and that affects me directly. You say trans women are women are trans women. It's a very different experience.
Trans women are women.
We're just gonna agree to disagree with that. If you ask feminists at a women's march what a woman is, they can't even define it. How can you protect something and empower something that you don't even know the actual definition of?
Yo, Ariel is cooking. She is cooking right now. I mean, I find myself agreeing with her. Clearly, she's on the anti-feminist side. But like she said, you can't force this stuff onto people and make everyone accept it to be true. You know, I mean, part of being a woman used to mean that, you know, you wanted to find a man someday. So assuming that the trans woman is straight, assuming that the trans woman wants to be a traditional woman, she'll be looking for a man. And what kind of man wants to get with a trans woman? I mean, that might sound hateful, that might sound mean, or whatever you want to call it, but you'll never force a real man to submit to that level. It's just not happening. You know, at some point the buck is gonna stop on the delusion. We can't be pretending that these, you know, 6 foot, you know what I'm saying, muscular guys with nails and long hair are actually women and that we find them attractive. Like, come on, man.
Well, I will say J.K. Rowling calls herself a feminist and was canceled for not being pro-trans, which is kind of overtaking and reversing some of the work feminists have done in the past.
She's a billionaire.
Well, they criticize her.
Fine.
She's fine.
Oh, her billionaire feelings are hurt. I'm so saddened for her.
Feminist.
I want to point out how a lot of these feminists think, and that was a great example right there. Now, J.K. Rowling might be a billionaire, sure, but clearly these women have no regard for her feelings as a woman at all because she doesn't agree with them. It's like if you don't align yourself with them, if you don't agree with their definition of a woman and their definition of feminism and everything that they agree with, then you can't be a part of the club. And I find it very ironic as well that they don't even realize trans women are literally starting to win awards as women, you know, take over beauty pageants. Like womanhood, the scope of womanhood as a social construct, let's just say, is changing so much. It's changing every day. And I mean, me personally, I'd like to stay in a world and live in a world where the meaning of a woman doesn't change. I mean, I know I'm kind I'm kind of clinging on to something that's already leaving in a way, but trans women are not women. Sometimes you got to think of things as a test run. When you implement your new idea to society, if it does well, then maybe it's a good idea. But if it flops, then it's a bad idea. I think this trans woman thing is flopping. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.
This movement does not allow anyone to have any other opinions but what you guys
But what
think
does
is
that
correct.
mean, though? Because she's allowed to have that opinion, and she still makes a bunch of money.
Yes, she does.
What do trans women take away from women in the feminist movement?
The definition of words and what that means and how that affects us directly.
Can you expand on that?
Yes, when you change the word woman, legally it has implications. Sexually it has implications.
But the word woman
directly
has changed throughout histories, throughout different cultures. Indigenous people have had different genders, different ways of looking at gender. The Torah specifically has 8 different genders, and we have recognized that for over 3,000 years.
8 genders in the Torah? I'm gonna have to fact check that.
You're denying anybody's culture that does not agree with your perception and your worldview because you hold so highly onto your identity and you see it as an attack on who you are.
But let me rebuttal her really fast. You need a world view that's conducive to building a great society. You need a world view that works. Because if you don't have a world view that works, societies won't thrive and they won't grow. If we had this world view of men can be women and women can be men, we wouldn't have made it this far. So the patriarchy, or whatever you want to call it, it works. Men being with women, real women, real men, not all this trans stuff, that is what works. Everything outside of that is just, whatever fun you want to have on your own. Look, what you do in your bed is not my problem, but it just don't work.
all of on sexual orientation.
Feminists as a whole.
But it's
though.
nothing to do with sexual
It has exactly to do with sex. When you change the word woman and a lesbian is a woman that is attracted to women, how is that not directly affecting us?
What defines a woman is being born with biological women's parts, and that is what a woman is. And trans women are individuals who choose to live their lives as women, and I honor that. And everyone deserves dignity and respect, and I mean that. But
Jill, you being too nice. You being too nice. You already know that if you don't agree with them 100%, they don't like you anyways. Just tell it like it is. Just say it how it is. You see how crazy they looking at her? Because she's trying to, skate around these words and deliver a nice message. Sometimes you just got to be harsh.
Individuals who choose to live their lives as women, and I honor that. And everyone deserves dignity and respect, and I mean that. But at the same time, there are universal truths, and we have, as a society, gotten to this confusing tangled place where there's your truth, your truth, your truth, your truth. There is one objective truth in what we are.
Can you explain to me the women in Guatemala who are born female, who are assigned female at birth, and then during puberty grow penises?
I can't explain it because I don't know anything about that.
That sounds like an intersex condition.
You try to, again, how feminists always try to tell us how we should live our life. I said I was a raging feminist. She goes, I don't believe that.
I don't see that. I don't in what you've been saying. I can't see any traces of feminism in what you're saying.
My mother is literally.
We heard a lot about your mom, but what about you?
I am a woman. Looking at me, I am a woman, born and raised a woman. Why are we trying to write women, born biological women? Why are you trying to write us out of history?
You guys keep saying that there's a biological reality of male and female. Yes. Scientists do not agree with you.
Scientists that you choose to agree with. I mean, you can find a study and a scientist to back up anything you want to prove these days.
I choose to do peer-reviewed studies and not ones that are backed by political agenda. And I'm sorry that my peer-reviewed studies tend to agree with the fact that trans women are women and that biology it does not exist.
Peer-reviewed study. Call me a science denier, but I don't believe everything just because it says a peer-reviewed study. Anybody saying that it's 30 genders is bonkers, bro. I don't know what they smoking, but I don't want none of it, and y'all need to stay away from it too. Let me wrap this up though.
In a binary, never has and it never will.
I secretly crave men's approval.
And that's where I'm gonna end the video, you guys. Let me know what you thought about this down in the comments below. Interesting conversation. I don't understand how women can call themselves feminists and allow men, biological men, to just, get right up, all up in their spaces and take over and dominate. But, I mean, it's not my problem. So let me know what you thought about this in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe when you're at the door. Till next time, you guys, I'm out of here. Peace.